walk you home. Who'd have guessed we'd walk a lifetime, growing up and growing old. We've got an old love, one we never will get tired of, one that fits us like an old glove, one to warm the winter days. We don't have to say I love you quite as often as we used to. Old love just goes without saying, but we still say it anyway. We may not leave this town we live in. Life's not as easy as we planned. I always meant to give you diamonds, but you still wear a plain gold band. And that old river keeps on rolling. We don't know just what's in store, but in spite of all of this, I don't love you like I did. I love you so much more. We've got an old love, one we never will get tired of, one that fits us like an old glove, one to warm the winter days. We don't have to say I love you quite as often as we used to. Old love just goes without saying, but we still say it anyway. And old love just goes without saying, but we'll still say it anyway. We've got an old love, one we never will get tired of, one that fits us like an old glove, one to warm the winter day. Oh, Ellis Island was swarming like a scene from a costume ball, decked out in the colors of Europe and on fire with the hope of it all. There my father's own father stood huddled, tired, hungry and scared, a turn of the century pilgrim, bound by the dreams that they shared. They were standing in lines just like cattle, poked, sorted and shoved, some one desk away from sweet freedom, some torn from someone they loved. In that sprawling tower of Babel came a young man, confused and alone, determined and bound for America, carrying everything that he owned. Sometimes when I look in my grandfather's immigrant eye, I see that day reflected, and I can't hold my feelings inside. I see starting with nothing, working hard all of his life. So don't take it for granted, say grandfather's immigrant life. Now he rocks and he stares out the window, but his eyes still look as clear as the day he sailed to this country, landed in the island of tears. Now my grandfather's days are numbered, but I won't let his memory die, 'cause he gave me the gift of this country and the look in his immigrant eye. Sometimes when I look in my grandfather's immigrant eye, I see that day reflected. I can't hold my feelings inside. I see starting with nothing, working hard all of his life. So don't take it for granted, say grandfather's immigrant eye. Don't you take it for granted, say grandfather's immigrant eye. How do I know my youth is all spent? My get up and go has got up and went. But in spite of it all, I'm able to grin and think of the places my get up has been. Old age is golden, or so I've heard said, but I wonder each evening as I crawl into bed, with my ears in a drawer, my teeth in a cup, my eyes on the table until I wake up. As sleep dims my vision, I say to myself, is there anything else I should lay on the shelf? Though nations are warring and business is vexed, we'll still stick around to see what happens next. How do I know my youth is all spent? My get up and go has got up and went. But in spite of it all, I'm able to grin and think of the places my...
Hello, everyone. We're going to be starting shortly with Robert and Matt. Just so you know, we're doing Zoom, so if you're on the Zoom show, you're going to be able to unmute and participate if you'd like. If you're in a quiet space and you'd like to applaud and or laugh and or occasionally ask a question, just raise your hand by clicking on the participants window and looking down at the bottom under more, and you should see a little blue hand, and you can raise that and we can unmute you, and you can give some feedback to the musicians if you'd like. You can also drop me a note. My name is Brian Dozer, and I'll be teching the show for the guys. We'll be starting very shortly.
How do I know my youth is all spent? My get up and go has got up and went. But in spite of it all, I'm able to grin and think of the places my get up has been. How do I know my youth is all spent? My get up and go has got up and went. But in spite of it all, I'm able to grin and think of the places my get up has been.
I was trying to catch that just before it started. To introduce the guys tonight, hang on, let's do a little stop share for a second. To introduce Matt and Robert, we have Joy from the Old Songs Music with Roots.
Hi, everybody. So, I'm Joy Bennett. I'm the executive director of Old Songs, and we're very pleased to have everyone with us tonight for these two wonderful gentlemen who have known each other for over 30 years. You may know them from WDET FM in Detroit, and you may know them from their performing later on. But the way we know them is music that matters. Historical, social change, migration, hopes and dreams. Hope is very important right now, and it is music in its rich and diverse forms that help us find hope in these difficult times. So you can go to their websites and read so much about them. There is so much more to these two guys. I'm very happy that I've known Matt for a number of years. We won't say how long. And Robert for a shorter time, but he also was at Trad Mad Camp one year, a few years ago, and was pretty much a sensation there. So I could say superlative, I can say lots of things about both of these guys, but you know what? It's better if you just hear them because you will agree that they are the best.
Thank you, Joy.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you, Joy.
Well, we'll talk a little bit about us in just a minute. I thought maybe we would begin the concert like we've begun just about every concert since we started doing this almost, well, a little over 30 years ago, if you can believe that. And there's a reason why we start with a Hank Williams song. And that's because the first time we ever played music together, it was in an old music store, an old record store, and somebody thought it'd be interesting to see what the host of the folk show on public radio what would happen if they put the host of the folk show together with the host of the blues show. And what ended up happening was we played country music just about all night. That seemed to be what we had in common. So we love this opening Hank Williams song and use it all the time. When we're live and in concert, we ask people to shout back with us, "Mind your own business," every time we sing it. You can do that at home as well. If my wife and me's for some history, that's all right. Me and that sweet woman got a license to fight. Why don't you mind your own business? I said, mind your own business. If you mind your business, then you won't be minding mine. There's a lady on the party line, a nosy thing. She picks up the receiver when she knows it's my ring. Why don't you mind your own business? I said, mind your own business. If you mind your business, then you won't be minding mine. Oh, play that harmonica, Reverend John. You okay over there? If I wanna honky tonk around to 2 or 3, well, that's my headed brother, don't you worry about me. Just mind your own business. I said mind your own business. If you mind your business, then you won't be minding mine. Oh, play it again, Robert. Let me hear you. Well, I got a little lady, wears her hair up high. All the boys whistle when she walks by. Why don't you mind their own business? I said mind your own business. If you mind your business, then you won't be minding mine. Got one more in there, bud? Oh, he's just showing off now. What about the COVID? Minding other people's business seems to be high tone. I got all I can do just to mind my own. Why don't you mind your own business?
mind your own business. If you mind your business, then you won't be minded mine. Well, if you mind your business, you stay busy all the time.
All right.
And they went crazy. Look at them.
Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That's a little taste of folk music. It's not folk music because of the style of it, because as you all know, there are lots of styles within the envelope of folk music. It's folk music because of the nature of it. It's the kind of music everyday folks make for themselves, used to make and still make. And you get a guy with a guitar and add a guy with a harmonica and add some folks, whether by Zoom or in person, and you got folk music. So we like this idea of folk music. We like the fact that there was showmanship. If you wanted to keep that audience hooked before you had the laser light shows and the explosions on the stage and the wardrobe malfunctions, what you had to do was like the tricks of showmanship. Play a really long note. Play the harmonica upside down. Maybe play with your nose. Whatever it took is what you did. And yeah, that was pre-COVID. But you know, as much as we like the tricks of showmanship, what we really like is what this music has to teach us about ourselves, our history, and one another.
And like I said, you know, Robert and I met doing back-to-back public radio shows. I did a folk music show. He did I continue to do folk music show, and he did a blues show. And we just started to notice all those places where those genres of music sort of intertwined. And one of the things very early in our musical careers, we realized that, you know, there were more similarities to this roots music than there were differences. And we started to realize also that that's true of the people who brought their music to our country. That you can either fight about what makes them different or you can celebrate what makes them the same. Because this much we know. At the root of American music, every time there would be a new form of music in America, it was because people of different cultures shared their music together in this big melting pot, in this big stew of a country. And you know, give you an idea of how similar they are. You take a song like the one we were just doing, Mind Your Own Business. At that tempo, that speed, it's a little country shuffle by the great Hank Williams. But what would happen if I did a simple change? I'm just going to change the tempo, just the speed of the song. Everything else will be the same. I'll give the notes about the same amount of time. 3 chords, the E, the A, and the B7th. And all I'll do this time is just slow it down. You ready to try that, Robert?
Let's do it.
Essentially the same song. I could even sing the old song. 'Cause if you mind your business, you sure won't be minded mine. Basically just that 12-bar blues. When you speed it up a little bit, it becomes country. If you grab another instrument and speed it up a little more, same 3 chords, same order, this time the tempo goes faster, you invite somebody like, I don't know, Chuck Berry into the room.
Why not? 1, 2, 3, 4. Way down in Louisiana, down in New Orleans, back up in the woods of Mother Evergreen. Good an old cabin made of earth and wood, with a little boy named Johnny B. Good. Little boy can never read or write so well, but he can play the guitar just like the ring and the bell. Go, go, Johnny, go, go, go.
So all of a sudden we have old time rock and roll, and it just shows you that when you look, you know, sometimes we think of music as a tree. If you imagine this huge tree out in the middle of the forest, and this tree has all these different branches, you could call it the American music tree, and each one of those branches is a different kind of music. Well, you can trace, you know, there might be a rock and roll branch or a country branch or a classical branch, but what we've noticed is you can trace all those branches down underneath the tree where the roots are, which is why roots is such a great metaphor for this. Because once you notice that none of those branches would be possible without the roots. And that's what we're interested in. That's what I know Old Songs has been interested in for how many decades. And one of the things you notice about those roots is they're twisted. They don't go in a straight line.
Just like us.
Just like us and every other musician I've ever met. They're twisted. And that's what has Robert and I fascinated about this music. Not only the roots, but the branches as well. So we're going to spend the next hour with you guys sort of exploring what we've learned about these roots and these branches. And I have to just quickly say that a lot of what I've learned came from going across the country to the East Coast in June and going to the Old Songs Festival. That is probably the longest festival I've been going to since I can remember. Before I was even performing outside of Michigan, I was going to Altamont Speedway or the fairgrounds to do the Old Songs. It truly is my favorite folk festival. And when I got to play it a couple times and MC, it was an absolute thrill. So we are really, really glad to be with you folks tonight, especially because of the legacy of that wonderful, wonderful festival.
Absolutely. And looking at the Zoom boxes, at the musical squares, I also see a couple friends of mine from New Hampshire, from the Sam W. It's Peg Espinosa I saw for a quick second. So it's pretty cool to be able to play for your friends.
So in order to really, though, look at those roots, let's spend just a little bit of time in the 19th century.
That's right.
Right?
In fact, let's go back to the time where the tree had the roots. I mean, where the branches didn't change every 20 minutes. We could come out and wow you guys with our knowledge of contemporary music. If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. I mean, we love Beyonce, but that is frankly not our gift.
No.
Let's go back to the roots, the music that changes not. And you go back to maybe about 1850, right before the start of the Civil War, 10 years before the start of the Civil War, and you're standing in front of this old weather-beaten building. Windows and the doors are flung open to get a breeze through, and you're not in a northern state. In fact, maybe you're in Alabama or Mississippi, and it's a hot day. And so you hear this music coming from those open windows, and you know something about the people inside making the music.
What'd you say? It was like
1850.
1850. Here's what you hear outside that old weather-beaten building. You hear this. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Of course, that old weather-beaten building was an old church, because you really cannot study the roots of American music without going back to the kinds of music that was being preserved in churches. But back then in 1850, not all churches were the same. You could go 500 feet down the path and have a similar but different experience.
Yes, the great Frederick Douglass, who our outgoing president refers to as Freddie.
Yeah, still alive and doing some great work.
Doing great work. Freddie described this as the invisible church, where the enslaved folks would go off and have church, maybe in a barn or a stable or some out-of-the-way place. And they're drawing their inspiration from the white church that they're not welcome in. So they have their service, and their songs come out somehow different, more like, oh, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. but now see, oh Lord, I see. Frankly, Matt and I have been known to go to elementary schools and do that for the kids, and we ask them if that's the same song, and they go, no. And the reason they don't get it is because it sounds so much different 500 feet down the road. And what changes that song is something amazing called the folk process. Strangely enough, if you write a song down, it tends to not change that much over time and distance. So your father sings, Amazing Grace, and we put it in a hymnal. That means the son sings, Amazing Grace, and the grandson sings, Amazing Grace. And 7 generations later, the great-great-great-great-granddaughter joins the glee club and sings, Amazing Grace. It changes a little bit. But what happens in those places where they don't write it down, they pass it down? Like in the black community, maybe your father sang Amazing Grace, and you decided it wasn't fancy enough and you made it Amazing Grace. And little did you know your son was going to fall in love with that pretty girl from Kentucky. When she sings The Baby's Asleep, she's been known to sing Amazing Grace. And 7 generations later, your great-great-great-great-granddaughter, Aretha, goes to Washington, puts on a really cool hat, and she sings, That's just 2 words. So 20 minutes later, not only have you heard Amazing Grace, but you've experienced the folk process.
And if there's one concept that really sets our music aside from all other music, it's that it is constantly changing. It's constantly in flux. And it's beautiful, as you know, Joy knows, and so many people who love traditional music. These ballads that came over from England and Scotland and Wales and settled in, say, North Carolina, and then went back and forth, and the changes in these beautiful songs, that is what makes our music different. Classical music is basically written down and played kind of the same way every time it's played. There's some, of course, great variations, but folk music was meant to be adapted. It was meant to have these old spirituals be adapted so that they could be sung for the Underground Railroad, and 100 years later be sung for something like the Civil Rights Movement, and 50 years later to be sung an Arab Spring or whatever we happen to be protesting, or a George Floyd protest. That's what this music is. It's constantly, constantly changing. Now, some things made that a little bit easier, like the invention of the radio, the invention of the phonograph. All of a sudden, music that could just be heard regionally is now being able to be heard across the country. And that's why things in music started to change so quickly. In fact, if we have time, Robert, and you have a mind to,
all right,
let's see if we can show you, I don't know, say 6 or 7 decades of the 20th century music using 3 chords and 5 notes. But we should probably start a little bit before that. So imagine, for instance, this guy down in a place in Mississippi, black guy playing this style of music called the blues that nobody's ever heard before, because, you know, although you may have had the blues if you were an enslaved person, chances are you couldn't sing the blues if you were an enslaved person.
You'd be like, if I could get me great big gun, chainsaw master, I'd have some fun.
Yeah.
You just can't sing that.
No,
well, you could sing it once.
Maybe once. Yeah.
Once, yeah. But no. But if you could, you know, moan, and what you're moaning is your business, right? So that first iteration of the blues was the spiritual. But then later on, you know, as we moved into the 20th century, you could sing the blues about what you wanted to sing about. You could sing about
Stuff
cotton
that,
and
weighing heavy on your mind.
women and dogs that wouldn't hunt and cars that wouldn't start and women and thunderstorms and drought, hurricanes and women. So we like to take one of those women songs, perhaps the year's about 1917, and the state is Mississippi, and we hear this guy singing about his woman. Her name is Thelma. Thelma's giving him the blues. I got a T for Texas, woo baby, people Tennessee. Got a T for Texas, T for Tennessee. I got a T for Thelma, man. Woman gave the blues to me.
So can you imagine hearing that music for the very first time? You know, some white guy listening to this guy sing about his girlfriend out in the middle of the park in the afternoon, and you know, maybe he wants to imitate that kind of music, and he gets his guitar to sing about his girlfriend, who also happens to be named Thelma. But when he sings it, it comes out a little different. It comes out like this. I got a T for Texas. I got a T for Tennessee. I got a T for Texas, a T for Tennessee. I got a T for Thelma, the one who gave the blues to me. The yodel-o, the yodel-o, the yodel-o, Now, we don't know about the yodel, where the Swiss guy came from. He was probably just yodeling by when Jimmy Rogers was singing. But we do know this, when Jimmy put that little yodel to that old blues, all of a sudden one of those branches popped off that tree that wasn't there before. And that was the country music branch. So in the 20th century, that was happening decade by decade by decade. But almost in every instance, it was when people of different cultures shared their music together. In some cases, outright stole it. And in other cases, just, you know, it was music mixed up on the porch that got commercialized and a new branch popped. We'll give you an example. Those 3 chords and those 5 notes. Doesn't matter where it starts on the scale. It's the 1, the 4, and the 5. Mm-hmm. And it's the pentatonic scale, either the minor
or the major. So, you know, let's imagine that we have Son House down in the Mississippi Delta. He's trying to come up with a tune to go with his brand new song called the Death Letter Blues. And it goes like this. That's your central leg. I got a letter this morning. How you think it read? Said hurry, hurry, cause girl, your love is dead. Got a letter this morning. Oh, Lord, how you ring it red. Said hurry, hurry, cause the girl, your love is dead. Well, that was hot stuff in Son's day, but music didn't stay in the Delta. Moved about 50 miles north to a city called Memphis. And the piano players got a hold of those 5 notes, but they did them a little differently. Called it boogie woogie. With the other hand, they played the 3 chords, like so. Won't shine me down my jumper, won't shine my overalls. Take me down my jumper, won't shine my overalls. Well, I'm about to catch a train, what they call a cannonball. And that was hot stuff in the 20s. But the time the 30s rolled around, America was in a Great Depression. And a lot of those black piano players ended up in black churches, just looking for work. And all of a sudden, black church music started sounding suspiciously like boogie woogie. They didn't call it church boogie woogie though, called it gospel. Well, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, Lord, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Lord, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, Lord, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. But the fact is, those are the same 3 chords and the same 5 notes. Doesn't end there. Imagine it's 1935 and you get a young man by the name of Bill Monroe, who invents a style of music called bluegrass, which quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the most un-Negro kind of music you can imagine. 5 white guys wearing cowboy hats and singing into a microphone that looks pretty much like this one and saying, "Yeehaw!" It's not my idea of heaven. But that's okay, because blues is in bluegrass in part because of a guy named Arnold Schultz, who taught half the guitar players in Kentucky and most of the mandolin players too, but in part because of the guitar player, a guy by the name of Lester Flatt, who when he got to the end of those fast bluegrass verses, used to play something called the G-run to tag them. Would you demonstrate the G-run?
Yeah, you can't be a bluegrass guitar player without learning this simple lick.
Nice. Would you do that again? Which is just the boogie woogie, played with a flat pick. So you end up with songs like, I'm going down the road feeling bad, Lord, I'm going down the road feeling bad. I'm going down the road feeling bad, Lord, Lord, and I ain't gonna be treated this way. Yeehaw! Same 3 chords and the same 5 notes. You imagine it's like 1948, right? Get a young man by the name of Ray Charles, not to be confused with Jamie Foxx. And Ray Charles was raised in that Baptist church, but decides to take the sacred lyrics and turn them secular. Everywhere you used to say Jesus, Ray says baby. And it works out great until that night about 60 years ago when he ran out of songs. So that's all right, baby, just sing back to me what I sing to you. So in your virtual homes, sing back to us when we sing to you. Hey,
Hey,
oh,
oh,
hey,
hey,
oh, hey, hey, oh, tell me what I say.
tell me what I say,
Tell me what I say.
tell me what I say,
Tell me what I say.
tell me what I say,
Tell me what I say. Let's do it again. Say
ah,
oh,
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 ow,
oh. Tell me what I say.
tell me what I say,
Tell me what I say.
tell me what I say,
Tell me what I say.
tell me what I say,
Tell me what I say.
tell me what I say.
I say those are the same 3 chords and the same 5 notes. Now we call it R&B. Doesn't end there. Imagine it's 1955. You got a television, gigantic wooden box in the middle of your living room with a little tiny screen, and it only gets 3 stations. Now, because there's only 3 stations, everybody sort of watches everything, the same thing at the same time. So Sunday night, 7 o'clock, everybody's watching. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a really good show for you tonight. You're going to like this young man. He comes to us from Tupelo, Mississippi. By way of Memphis, Tennessee, he uses 3 chords and 5 notes, ladies and gentlemen. And the kid walks out on the stage and goes, one for the money, for the show. You get ready now, go cat, go, but don't you mess with my blue suede shoes. You can do the things of my blue suede shoes. Whoa, blue suede shoes, blue suede shoes, blue suede shoes, blue suede. You can do the things of my blue suede shoes. Thank you very much. Well, of course, we go to schools. Every kid in the 2nd grade knows that's Elvis Presley. And I think the reason his impact is so monumental is because he came along at a time when black kids didn't routinely listen to white music, or white kids did not routinely listen to black music, but they heard it coming from both sides of the track. They heard Chuck Berry and Elvis, and they aspired to become those musicians. And so they were breaking down barriers that were generations old. So by the time the 60s rolled around and 5 good-looking black kids came from Detroit, and toured in the Deep South with a rope down the middle of the gymnasium to keep the kids from dancing together, when those kids heard those 5 notes coming out of Detroit, the kids themselves tore down the rope and danced together, because the group was the Temptations and the notes were, I've got sunshine on a cloudy day, when it's cold outside, I've got the month of May. Why don't you sing it with us? I guess you say, what can make me feel this way? My girl, my girl, my girl, talking about my girl, my girl. Ooh.
Sometimes I just do that sitting around the house. Just go, ooh.
Pull it down from heaven. That's pretty hot.
But
man.
It's interesting because we'll get this far. Say we're playing for middle school kids, and we'll say, up until now, this is pretty much your granddad's music, right? What does this have to do with the 21st century? And it's always interesting to go back to that old blues song, that Sun House song called Death Letter Blues, just to show you how these branches keep popping off this tree.
Right. In fact, if you did Sun House's Death Letter Blues in 2020, well, he did it in 1928, so that makes the song 92 years old. It needs a remix. Instead of doing every verse twice, you do every verse once, and speed up the tempo of the song and fade the music out, in which case it would sound like this. I got a letter this morning, how do you think it read? Say, hurry, hurry, cause the gal you love is dead. You know I packed up my suitcase, took off down the road. When I got there, she was laying out on the cooling board. I eased up close and I looked down in her face and said, hey, you know I love you, but I just can't take your place. It seemed like the clouds was standing around the funeral ground. I didn't know how much I loved the day they put my baby in the ground. I put my arms and then I walk away and say, hey, you know I love you, have to see your judgment day. You know I woke up this morning, it was about the break of day, and I was looking on a pillow where my baby used to lay. But we went to church about damn, I tried to pray, but the blues come along and they blowed my spirit away. Because this morning about the break of day, and I was looking on a pillow where my baby used to lay. I say it's hush, I thought I heard her call my name. She didn't call so loud, but she called so plain. Yeah, boy. Yeah.
You have no idea how glad I am I don't have to do that part of the show, ladies and gentlemen. But that just gives you an idea of how this music just changes but doesn't really over time. And you can trace so many songs back to the Carter family. You can trace so many songs back to those early Jimmy Rogers recordings. You can trace so many of these songs back to the ballads that were sung hundreds of years ago and then traveled over, like I said. And that's what I love about organizations like the Old Songs Incorporated, is that there's a place where we can preserve just how important this music is to our culture. In fact, do you want to do a little song from the Carter family?
Aye.
Let's do that. I'll entertain the folks. I'm going to grab my banjo.
All right, man. So, that sounds good. And then we're going to entertain them with the banjo?
Yes.
Okay, that's the plan anyway. So you think about the Carter family, which is sort of the first family of country music. And there they are, in Poor Valley, just eking out, trying to make ends meet. And they don't realize that in their poverty, they probably have the greatest treasure that America has ever had, and that's its music. So coming from their background and assisted by a man by the name of Leslie Riddle, an African American, who could get into black communities that might not want to share their music as readily as the white community, these guys built up a songbook of American music, most of it depressing. but a lot of it pretty cool because it's drawn from both black and white sources.
And again, although they claim credit for writing a lot of these songs, of course, people who study folk music know that you can trace some of these songs right back to those same ballads that we were talking about that came over from Europe and other places. This particular song, I think I've heard sung in just about every genre. I've heard it done bluegrass and folk and blues, and it's just got a great little moral to it. If you want to sing along with us, you certainly can. I know Woody had a nice version of this song too. Sowing on the mountain,
Sowing on the mountain,
reaping in the valley,
reaping in the valley.
sowing on the mountain,
Sowing on the mountain,
reaping in the valley,
reaping in the valley.
sowing on the mountain,
Sowing on the mountain,
in the valley.
reaping in the valley.
You're gonna reap just what you sow. If you've been a gambler,
If you've been a gambler,
better quit your
better
gambling.
quit your gambling.
If you've been a gambler,
If you've been a gambler,
better quit your
better
gambling.
quit your gambling.
If you've been a gambler,
Gambler,
better quit your
better quit
gambling.
your gambling.
You're gonna reap just what you sow. Sowing on the mountain,
Sowing on the mountain,
reaping in the valley.
reaping in the valley.
Sowing on the mountain,
Sowing on the
reaping
mountain,
in the valley.
reaping in the valley.
Sowing on the mountain,
Sowing on the mountain,
reaping in the valley.
reaping in the valley.
You're gonna reap just what you sow. If you've been alive,
If you've been a liar,
better quit your
better
lying.
quit your lie.
If you've been a liar,
If you've been a liar,
better quit your
better
lying.
quit your lie.
If you've been a liar,
If you've been a liar,
better quit your lying.
better quit your lie.
You're gonna reap
Just what you sow. God told Noah,
God told Noah,
rainbow sign.
rainbow sign.
God told Noah,
God told Noah,
rainbow sign.
rainbow sign.
God told Noah, rainbow sign. Won't be water, fire next time.
Said it won't be water,
Won't be
but
water,
a fire next time.
fire next time.
Said it won't be water,
Won't be water,
but a fire next time.
fire next time.
Said it won't be water,
Won't be water,
but a fire next time.
fire next time.
When God gave Noah,
God gave Noah.
Oh, play that thing, man. It's like that. Going on the mountain,
Sowing on the mountain,
reaping in the valley.
reaping in the valley.
Sowing on the mountain,
Sowing on the mountain,
reaping in the valley.
Reaping in the valley.
Sowing on the mountain,
Sowing on the mountain,
reaping in the valley.
reaping in the valley.
You're gonna reap
Just what you sow.
Say you're gonna reap just what you sow.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So much fun to play.
Absolutely. So, yeah, you got that idea of this amazing music that just, goes generation after generation and is handed down from one to another, almost like a family heirloom, right? And it changes, but that change sometimes is good. It's
You wanna
important.
maybe do as another example of that this song that we heard by so many different people.
Oh, yeah.
And the original story actually goes back to the 1700s. It was a horse race that I think took place in Ireland. But somehow this story, has sort of just morphed into 100 different songs. Peter, Paul, and Mary probably had the most popular version of the song. Oh, Stuball was a racehorse, and I wish he was mine. She never drank water. None of those lines end up in the song we're doing.
No.
But it's about the same horse race. There was a bluegrass version about 10 Broke and Molly. The same horse race. I first heard this song by two amazing blues musicians. The bass player,
Willie Dixon.
Willie Dixon, and the piano player, Memphis Slim.
Yes, sir.
And I loved their version so much. I wondered, though, even if none of us played piano or bass, if we could come up with a version of this version of Stuball. Now, for you astute learning guitar players out there, this is a one-chord song. I loved one-chord songs.
I love one chord. All you need is, like John Lee Hooker would say, anything more than one chord is showing off. So, let's do it.
was a big day in Dallas. Oh, I wish I was there. Spend my last $100 on that iron gray mare. See her travel all day long, long, long. See her travel all day long, all day long. Well, I don't mind horse racing if it wasn't for my wife. Oh, Stewball, they stumble and away with my life. Wife and baby left behind. Wife and baby left behind. Left behind. Oh, Stewball was a black horse, just as slick as a mole. Had a ring round his full shoulder, and it shine like gold, like gold, like gold. Had a ring around his full shoulder, and it shine like gold, like gold. Oh, Stewball was a racehorse, but the poor horse, he was blind. Ran so fast down in Texas, he left his shadow behind. Behind, behind, left his shadow behind. That's fast, man. Oh, Stewball was a racehorse, and old Molly, she was too. Oh, Molly, she did stumble. Old Stewball, he just flew around the racetrack all day long, 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 round the racetrack all day long, all day long, all day long, all day long. For a one-chord song, that is so much fun to play.
Can't have more fun than that with one chord,
It's
man.
just true.
That's so cool.
Now, you guys cannot see our whole setup here, but we have a bunch of instruments that's surrounding us. And Robert brought an instrument that I was going to ask him if he'd maybe play something on it.
Oh, I will.
Would that be cool?
Absolutely.
I can see it, and it's just staring me down over here to my right. And it's a beautiful, beautiful steel guitar.
Yeah. This is a custom-made guitar that I'm not sure who it was custom-made for, but I know who it was custom-made by, a guy named Ron Phillips. And this kind of guitar is called a tricone. And the idea was before there were electric guitars, they would build this metal body guitar, and it had these 3 cones in it, and they all vibrate at different times to give you a sustained note, almost like an electric guitar.
And doesn't it also have the added sort of thing where if the Old Songs Festival gets tough and pretty rough as it has
It
been,
deflects 22s.
it can deflect 22. Yeah, that's
32s, maybe 38s. Hard to
about
tell.
it, yeah.
That's about it. So I'm gonna try not to blind you guys. But there's a song that I really love by a guy named Blind Willie Johnson.
I was hoping this would be the one you'd play.
Blind Willie was a street singer out in Texas, and at a certain point in his life, he became so popular that they would pick him up and take him into Columbia Studios and he'd record, and then they'd bring him back. But his shack caught fire in 1949, and he didn't have anywhere to go, anywhere else to sleep, and he ended up sleeping on the wet bedding and contracted pneumonia and passed away. And he was turned away from the hospital not because of his blackness, but because of his blindness. But one of the things he left behind was a legacy of a song called Dark Was the Night and Cold Was the Ground. And it went a little bit like... The way he originally recorded it, it didn't have words. It was just a moan. But I found the words in an old Baptist hymnal. It goes, dark was the night, cold the ground, on which the Lord was laid. Drops of sweat like blood ran down in agony he prayed. Father, please move this bitter cup, if such thy sacred will. If not, I'm content to drink it up. Thy purpose to fulfill. Well, about 20 years or more after Blind Willie died, some folks came along from NASA. And since Blind Willie was always aiming high in his music and in his life, singing spirituals and sanctified songs, they decided he needed to be represented on a space station called Voyager. Because on Voyager is something called the Golden Record. It's got Bach and Brahms, Beethoven, even Chuck Berry is on the Golden Record. And this is a song they decided to put on the Golden Record from Blind Willie. So I guess if you talk about aiming high, can't do too much better than the Voyager. On a warm summer night, you can hear Blind Willie as he flies across the heavens, moaning.
That is so cool.
That's such a wonderful tune.
Man, oh man. You know, I wondered if I could get you to throw a capo on that. I'm gonna do the impossible here.
All right. We're gonna try. We're gonna try anyway.
This has been a crazy week for me. In the same week, I turned 60 years old, and my mom passed away the day before that happened. After she was 84 years old, and she was surrounded by her kids, and it was a rough week. And she was, of course, she was my mom. She was my biggest cheerleader. And she used to love this song. And if I can get through it, folks, we can all get through it together. Let's see what happens. I'm going to send this one out to Camille, wherever she may be. go to sleep, you weary hobo. Let the towns drift slowly by. Can't you hear the steel rail humming? That's the hobo's lullaby. Don't you worry about tomorrow. Let tomorrow come and go. Tonight you're in a nice warm boxcar, safe from all the wind and snow. Sing it with me. Go to sleep, you weary hobo. Let the towns drift slowly by. Let the towns drift slowly by. Can't you feel the steel rail humming? Can't you feel the steel rail humming? That's the hobo's lullaby. That's the hobo's lullaby. I know your clothes are torn and tattered, and your hair is turning gray. But lift your head and smile at trouble. You'll find peace and rest one day. Let me hear you now. So go to sleep, you weary hobo. Let the towns drift slowly by. Can't you hear? Can't you hear the steel rails humming? That's the hobo's lullaby. Never let your heart be troubled. If the world calls you a bum, 'cause if your mother lives, she loves you, and you're still your mother's son. Now this was supposed to be known as Woody Guthrie's favorite song. He didn't write the song. It was written by Goebel Reeves. But Woody loves singing it, and I often thought maybe Woody loved this verse the best. What is it? I'll think of it. You play for a minute, I'll think of the verse. I got it. Never let your heart be troubled. Nope, that's not it. I'll get it. I got it. I know the police give you trouble. There it is. They cause trouble everywhere. But when you die and go to heaven, there won't be no policeman there. So go to sleep, you weary hobo. Sing it for me now. Let the towns drift slowly by. Can't you hear the steel rail humming? That's the hobo's lullaby. I'll play it out a little bit. I made it.
For Camille.
She was what my family would call a tough old broad. So we're going to send that out to her. What do you think? A couple more original songs maybe, and we'll
Maybe so,
getting
man.
close to the end. I'm having such a great time playing for you folks.
This is as Zoom concerts go.
This has been wonderful.
This has been wonderful.
I would actually, since we're doing, let's do some original songs. I don't think we've played anything we've written yet.
No.
And because I think the branches are important too as the roots. And man, I love this song that Robert wrote almost 20 years ago now, right? 19 years ago, something like that.
It was on the occasion of the fall of the towers. And an interesting anecdote about that is we were both working at public radio in Detroit when the towers fell. And Matt was the only person who was talking about forgiveness. And I was like, Matt, I know I'm a minister and all of that good stuff, but it's too early to talk about forgiveness. Somebody is going to try to take you out. And then, of course, I went home and wrote a song about forgiveness based on the idea of Jacob and his brother Esau. And ultimately, as Jacob wrestled with the angel the night before his brother came to kill him with 400 armed men, the angel changed his name, touched him in the hollow of his thigh, and the sinew shrank. And they'd say that he came up lame from the encounter, but he also changed his name from Jacob to Israel, which means, among other things, he who wrestles with God and has prevailed. The song is really simple. The chorus is, and I wrestle with the angel all night long. And I wrestle with the angel all night long. And I wrestle with the angel all night long. And I wrestle with the angel all night long. Like Jacob in the wilderness, I don't know wrong or right, but I look to God in heaven to get me through this wicked night. For when my brother comes to kill me, all that I can see is that I must do unto him before he can do unto me. And I wrestle with the angel all night long. And I wrestle with the angel all night long. And I wrestle with the angel all night long. And I wrestle with the angel all night long. Now grace is still amazing, but for him who will not see, he says that grace that brought you safe thus far don't mean a thing to me. And I don't hate you for your actions, your name I barely know. I hate you for what our father did a long, long time ago. And I wrestle with the angel all night long. And I wrestle with the angel all night long. And I wrestle with the angel all night long. And I wrestle with the angel all night long. And when you wrestle with the angel, the fight might leave you lame. But if you hold on till the morning, the Lord will change your name. Oh, the Lord will change your name. And when my brother comes to kill me, I hope he'll understand how much I'd rather meet him man to man than to beat him hand to hand. But as he comes against our family, I know we'll have to fight. Sometimes, boy, it's what you have to do, but that don't make it right. And I wrestle with the angel all night long. And I wrestle with the angel all night long. And I wrestle with the angel all night long. And I wrestle with the angel all night long. So like Jacob in the wilderness, when we grapple through the night, don't let go without the blessing that comes with the morning's light. For when Jacob met his brother, they both put aside the sword, and they called him by a new name, he who wrestles with the Lord. And I wrestle with the angel all night long. And I wrestle with the angel all night long. And I wrestle with the angel all night long. And I wrestle with the angel all night long. And when you wrestle with the angel, the fight might leave you lame. But we hold on till the morning, the Lord will change your name. Oh, let him change your name. Thank you. This is a great song that Matt wrote very recently.
Actually wrote this when I realized that half of my Facebook friends unfriended the other half of my Facebook friends, because that's the kind of country we live in right now. But that's not sustainable. Could you love me if I don't look like you? Is it deeper? Is it stronger? Something hidden, something true. If I stare a little longer, will I see myself in you? Could you love me if I don't look like you? Could you love me if I don't think like you? Is it deeper? Is it stronger? Something hidden, something true. If I stare a little longer, will I see myself in you? Could you love me if I don't think like you? This life's a burning candle, and it would be a shame if we ignored the difference between the smoke and the flame. Could you love me if I don't pray like you? Is it deeper? Is it stronger? Something hidden, something true. If I stare a little longer, will I see myself in you? Could you love me if I don't pray like you? This moment is a miracle, so why not find a way to be here and be grateful that we share another day? Could you love me if I don't love like you? Is it deeper? Is it stronger? Something hidden, something true. If I stare a little longer, will I find myself in you? Could you love me if I am not like you? Thank you very much. I should mention before we wrap things up that most of the songs we played this evening, it only took us 29 years to put a CD out, but we finally did. And Robert and I have known each other our whole lives. But yeah, this one was a slow cooker, and I think we astounded the folks at the studio because we just did all these songs in one take because we've been playing them together our whole lives. And it's called Common Chords, which is also the name of a nonprofit organization that we started here in Detroit, just to promote, people coming across, building bridges across racial lines, to use music and art as a way to bring folks together. And that's really what Robert and I have been preaching about since as long as we can remember. It's like there are more things. I always laugh when people say, do you guys do one of those, diversity tolerance programs? And I go, I tolerate back pain. I celebrate diversity because diversity is what gives us art and culture and music. It's what makes us who we are as Americans. And, I was thinking maybe, Robert, we could close off with, if you don't mind, doing I Heard the Angels Singing.
Love it.
Could we do that? I'd love to get a little Reverend Gary Davis in here.
You got it.
And please give to the Old Songs Festival. Make sure that all of these cultural institutions stay healthy, even if the country is not. because we're going to need them when this thing passes, right? We're going to need the artists. We're going to need the venues. We're going to need the festivals. And it's really now up to us to make sure that they're good. So give a little more tonight and make sure that you give it to this wonderful organization that has been so influential in my life. So I want to thank Joy and all the folks from Old Songs. I want to send my love out to Andy Spence in memory of her husband Bill and all those folks who enriched my life in so many, many ways.
And never did I think I'd say this, but ditto, Rush.
No, I never thought you'd say that either.
So yeah, we can't wait until we get on, the New York Thruway, headed toward Albany. You
and
got
thanks,
it.
Thanks also to Brian Dozer, who's been our engineer here tonight. Thank you, Brian, and thank you to Brandon O'Sullivan and all the folks who make the technical side work. Oh, let's go to church, man.
Well, the great Reverend Gary Davis was a street singer on the streets of Harlem. And he could do more with just a few chords than just about anybody that I know. He could get that guitar to talk to him. And if he had an audience like this one, a congregation like this one, he'd encourage them to sing along. The song is called I Heard the Angels Singing, and your part is easy. I heard the angels singing. I heard the angels singing. One more time. I heard the angels singing. I heard the angels singing. Well, one day when I was walking along, I heard the angels singing. Looked around and I saw no one. I heard the angels singing. What do you reckon they said to me, Lord? I heard the angels singing. Set your sins are forgiven and your soul set free. I heard the angels singing. I said one morning soon. One morning soon, Lord. One morning soon. I heard the angels singing. Just when I thought that my soul was lost, I heard the angels singing. You know my dungeon shook and my chain fell off. I heard the angels singing. What people came running from miles around. I heard the angels singing. Just to see what the shouting was all about. I heard the angels singing. Down to the valley to pray. I heard the angels singing. Met old Satan down along the way. I heard the angels singing. Said you knew you too young to die to all the prey. I heard the angels singing. Oh, I made him out alive and I stayed all day. I heard the angels singing. That song too.
We thank you so much. And if anybody has any questions or anything you want to talk to us about, can we open up the Zoom meeting for a few minutes, Brian? Would that be possible?
Sure. Does that mean we should stop the stream or leave the stream going?
I think you could leave it going. Why not?
Okay.
They can leave if they want to, right?
Yeah.
They are free to leave.
Free country.
It's a free country. I want
just
to
wanna
get you all in
thank-
the. Let me get you all in the squares here so I can see you all. Oh, that's not what I wanted.
Just want to
This
thank
is a
you,
new
Matt and Robert. And
Thank you, Joy.
Thank you, Joy.
it is so
Well
great to
named.
hear you guys, and I miss seeing you in person. I know that I'm not alone in that, and we really do look forward to the time we can just gather together in person again someday.
Us
Soon,
too.
I hope.
It's interesting. So much of what I do is about getting people to sing, and it was actually warned against with COVID. Don't sing in small spaces, but that's what I do for a living,
Yeah, it's the small spaces that's the problem. I know.
Right.
It's so great to have you, and if anybody has any questions, now would be the time.
Anybody at all? Just unmute yourself. I think you can unmute yourself at this point. And Joy, I just want to say also congratulations on taking over the festival. I mean, the timing was, of course, terrible, but
Well, it's been 2 years. I did ran the
One
19
festival.
festival.
Got one,
right. Yeah.
one in under
Well,
normal
we
circumstances.
did have a virtual festival this year. It was on Ron Olesko's Folk Music Notebook.
yeah,
and
I caught a little bit of it. It was great.
great, yeah. And we had about 10,000 hits a day, so that was a good thing too.
There's a will, there's a way.
Did you-
Strangely enough,
Correct. Yeah, where there's a
it
will, there's a
enhances
relative.
your reach.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a show on Ron's on the Folk Music Notebook as well. If you want to listen on Tuesday nights at 8:00,
Hey.
my radio show's on over there. So
Oh, that's great. And just so you know, there's an Old Songs from the Vault show that we started up a few weeks ago. My husband, Chris Caldaway, actually does it on Folk Music Notebook on the third Wednesday of the month at 9 p.m. So that's
great.
out there as well. But I'm so glad you guys are here. But does anyone have any questions?
Oh, well, I just have some comments if that's okay.
yeah,
Sure.
My name's Laura. I'm here with my husband, Mike. I'm really glad to be here. You guys took me to church, and I just wanted to say thank you. It was great. I'm knitting a prayer shawl, and all of that music you made tonight is just woven up in it, and I'm so glad.
Where are you from, Laura?
Ithaca, New York.
Oh, great.
Wow.
Say hi to my friend Joe Crookston over there, huh?
Joe Crookston, do you know him? honey?
Do you know Joe? Oh, you guys got to look up Joe
You
Crookston.
gotta learn Joe. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do I have permission to mention this wonderful blessing here tomorrow at Quaker Worship Zoom?
Well, you just did.
Absolutely. We're in this love together now. So we gotta
Would you
mention
love
as
me?
much
That
as
that
we
has
can.
got to be shared. That is absolutely extraordinary. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, that's something we can find. Oh, I guess on your CD.
What's
Yeah,
that?
because I just wanted to share that song, Could You Love Me, with my
Oh.
church community.
Yes, it's on our CD, and there's also a video that I put together that you can find on my YouTube channel.
Oh, good.
And, if you can figure out a way to, I'll give you blanket permission to share that song in any way you see fit.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
And
that
if you
song
look
is
at-
like melody. It's like
in the,
medicine. It's like it asks how do we put it? It questions the answers that we have. It's very cool.
If you look in the chat, the link is there, so you can scroll back.
I'll put it back in. If they just joined, so they probably don't see it, but I'll
Oh, okay.
put a link to the video right in here
Great,
in the
thank you.
chat window, and on YouTube
I have a
and
quick question for
Facebook
Joy.
it's there as well.
Is there
Yeah.
going to be an old songs in 2021?
We're moving in that direction, but nobody knows.
We are
This is-
sisters.
you know,
Okay, that's what I figured.
yeah,
If
nobody really knows. So
if folks will actually take responsibility and kind of
are
look out for
sisters.
one another instead of their sovereignty, I'm really optimistic about us getting past this and boring the heck out of our future generations with how tough we had it during COVID.
The sooner we can start doing that, the better.
I'm
you
telling
know,
you,
and it'll sound like I walked to school uphill in the snow, and I walked
both
to
ways.
school uphill in the snow. Yes,
I wore 2 masks, and I was 12 feet apart.
there you go.
Right.
And still I got my chores done.
I flipped off a lady at an Applebee's, for not wearing a mask.
Oh God.
Hey,
Anyway.
Peg,
If you
how
want
you
to hear,
doing?
if you want to hear Joe Crookston, you can tune in to WVBR tomorrow. Listen to Bound for Glory. He's got sets at 8:30, 9:30, and 10:30. WVBR. You can get it on TuneIn Radio.
Are they doing?
Now I'm
Are those
thinking I
reruns or are
might know
those?
him. Does he have that song about his wife and the rattlesnake fang? Is that him? Oh,
I
I
don't
do
know
know
that
him.
one.
And he's great. Oh, it's real good.
And I tell you, will once you hear him, you find you can't do without him. He's really great.
Yeah, he's a great
Super
spirit.
high energy, great songwriter.
Are they doing Bound for Glory live, or are those just reruns
It's
from
a
past?
repeat from last April.
Oh, okay, great. Peg, did you want to say hi to Robert?
I have a little question. First, Robert, so great to see you in person.
It's great to see you too, Peg.
BMW, the beds do me in there, so I can't go back anymore.
Yeah, we have a concert. I have a concert coming up on the 5th. It's kind of the Summer Acoustic Music Week alumni. And we're
fabulous.
doing various, I think it's Mondays, right?
Is that going to be what venue? Is it going to be on Facebook page or?
I'm not sure, but I'm planning on. I was just talking virtually to Buffy Groves and to Lorraine, so we're gonna start getting some publicity out there. I don't know what the platform is going to be.
My guess is if you went to their website, it would probably be
I have
on
to
there.
know if you guys are in a bubble, because there you are singing at each other. You are not 6 feet apart.
No, Robert and I have risked it because it is literally impossible to do a concert like this remotely.
You can't.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys
Right.
are very careful. I'm so
Yeah.
careful.
Well,
We don't want to lose either one of you because you're both a treasure.
Thank you.
We're both skittish old men, so we don't go anywhere other than over each other's house.
Hey, as long as
We've been over the top
You're-
careful.
You're in a bubble. You're in a bubble with each other.
That's right.
That's it. We're in the bubble.
My wife's getting a little tired of him, quite frankly.
Okay, what he doesn't know is she likes me best.
I do too.
Now, I'm wondering, you guys have such a great grasp of historic songs and roots music. Do you delve into historic instruments like old versions of the banjo or
Yeah.
slide
Oh,
guitars
God.
or cigar
Robert
box guitars?
just bought one, actually. He was just telling me about an old gourd banjo he just bought.
Yep. I love, we're fascinated by that because, that's where that music sprang from. And I was, we do a school program, in fact, where we go back and talk about the development of American music through the fiddle, the banjo, the quills, the shakers, unaccompanied singing, and the whole nine, because it's so important to realize this music was homemade, and that's part of its staying power, that it wasn't superstars, it was grandpa sitting out on the front porch playing his fiddle that kept this music going, or grandma, as the case may be.
So yes, the answer is we love doing that kind of stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
Never heard that.
Anybody else comment or question?
Yes, just wanted to let you know, I'm here from Boston tonight. My friends here at the Folk Song Society of Greater Boston send their greetings to you.
Oh,
And,
that's great.
I send you my greetings from, of course, Tradmad, where I first met you. So it's just wonderful to see you again. I'll be talking to you about bringing this program to my town. So I'm excited
love it.
about that too.
Are you in Boston proper or in one of the surrounding?
Just south of Boston in Randolph.
Great.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, I've got so many friends in that area, of course, with Bennett and Lorraine Hammond and all of those really cool people. And Peg is a fantastic musician. And so I've met all of these really cool people. And with Joy and all the rest of you guys. So we really appreciate that area.
I got to hang out at Tradmad sometime. I think those are my people. No question about it.
They are your people. Yeah. So cool.
Nancy Vershatter, Danbury, Connecticut. Have you guys ever been to NEFA, the New England Folk Festival?
Which one?
New England Folk Festival, also called NEFA.
No.
I haven't.
Where do they do that?
It's outside of Boston. It's the end of April every year. I'm sure that Lynn can tell you all about it, right, Lynn? Yeah.
Well, right now we have Guitars Won't Travel But soon we hope they'll be traveling again.
Yeah.
And you know, there's so many great festivals, and you guys really know how to do it out on the East Coast. It's so supportive and just such a, you know, such a great network of coffee houses and festivals and stuff like that. We really are looking forward to being able to travel.
And I would like to invite you too. I do an annual show, a solo show on the day after Thanksgiving, and I've been doing it for about 25 or 26 years at a great club near us here in Ann Arbor called the Arc.
Uh-huh.
And I'm actually going to be playing on the stage with lights and everything but audience. But it's a lot of, Robert and I did a show early in the COVID thing from there. And that's going to be on Friday night. If you check my website, I'd love to have you come in. I'm going to really be reminiscent and playing some old songs and just kind of looking at the songs that brought me here. I've got this little video series I started called Trust the Song, because songs have defined my life in so many ways, as I'm sure is true with you guys as well. And I just kind of started thinking about how it's shaped my my political beliefs, but not only that, just the way I live my life. You know, this music gets in you in a way that is hard to describe. So it's much more easily sung than talked about.
Absolutely.
Speaking of singing, I just wanted to say I love hearing you two's voices together. Just that rich, sonorous, deep sound and that nice, high, clear tenor. It's just beautiful that they mix. It's like the different branches. It's wonderful to hear them together.
He accused me of singing like a white guy when we were recording in the studio. So.
Matt, I hate to tell you something.
Good thing.
But look at your hand.
I got what I got, you know.
No, and that's good. I love hearing the comparing contrast.
That's a great observation, because you kind of hear those branches in those two styles as they come together, and it, you know, so much of that music is improvisational, especially when Robert starts going to church, you know.
Yeah.
Because that music is not on the beat. It's not what we white people are used to. And so it's really been an education for me to sing with Robert. I love, as you can see, after 31 years of doing it, we don't get tired of it ever.
No. And one of the things that's really great about that, I love your ear for hearing that. One of the things that's great about that is that there were always musicians who were willing to cross that line and work together. Sam McGee and Conray Fontenot and Ardouin and
Sonny Terry, Brownie McGee, and Guthrie.
Yeah, I mean, there were always these guys, and Pete Seeger and everybody.
Right.
So the thing is that it's such a part of American music, but there were so many restrictions that kept people from doing it. Lonnie Johnson and Eddie Lang were an integrated team, and it came at a time when they, you know, Eddie Lang had to use a pseudonym, Blind Willie Dunn, because black guys and white guys just didn't perform together. But whenever it happened, it was magic. So, you know, we're really glad we live in a time where this can be my best friend and it's nobody's business.
We often tell students that what we're doing for you right now would have been illegal or dangerous, you know, just in the time of your grandparents, right? And now in the year 2020, we can have for our best friend anybody we choose. And that usually makes them slide together a little bit, which is nice, you know.
I think of Deeper Than the Skin, Greg Greenway and Reggie Harris.
Yeah, and
there you go.
Yeah, and Robert and I just developed a show with the same themes called 20 Minutes Apart. And Reggie and I have talked about the four of us getting it together and doing their program and our program, which would be great.
That would be just amazing.
Yeah.
But we got to have an inauguration before then.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to concede or kick him out. We don't care either way.
I have a question. Have you guys ever been down to Washington, D.C.?
You know, that's one area we have not played much.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah,
there was a great blues scene there for a while.
Great folk scene too, I know.
Oh, it's a great. I'm part of the Folklore Society of Greater Washington, and I will let our program person know about you guys and have him maybe get in touch.
Cool.
And do something, because we're going to be doing a lot of Zoom concerts
Great.
over the next few months to
Are you
keep things
familiar with
going.
Montgomery Community College?
No,
Out in
this
that
is
area?
all Washington, D.C.
Right. This is in Montgomery County, I think.
Yeah, Montgomery Community College is here in
Yeah.
Silver Spring.
Yeah.
We worked with
Como
some
Park, Silver
kids.
Spring, Rockville.
They always send these kids from Montgomery College to Swannanoa, and we work with them every year, and we are just amazed by the talent and the gifts and the personability of these kids. And we were saying, if we ever had an excuse to get
to Washington
to just to go and hang out at Montgomery, it would be great. And our representation is Tamulevich Artist Management. So David Tamulevich and
from Mustard's Retreat.
From Mustard's Retreat. That's our guy. So if you want to get in touch with us, give Tamulevich a call.
Right.
I will do.
Cool.
David Tamulevich is a childhood friend of mine. That's my claim to fame.
He's a dear man.
He's a great guy.
He was dear then, and he's still dear.
And I've never said that about an agent in my life. So
Nobody's ever said it about me. I remember Lucy Kaplansky saying that, the exact same thing about David. Never known an agent that she could actually say, I want to hug him every time I see him.
So did you grow up in Connecticut, Nancy?
Branford, Connecticut. Yep.
Yeah.
I remember one of the first, because I grew up one of the very few Jews in a waspy town. One of the most beautiful Christmas trees and one of the first Christmas trees I ever had close contact with was in David's living room.
I'm part of a songwriting group with David too called the Yellow Room Gang. There's 8 of us that do that help each other write songs, and we named it after his yellow living room where we do it. So
right.
Yeah, it's a good group. Well, listen, folks, we've really enjoyed this tonight. Thank you so much for bringing old songs to my living room.
Now, before
You guys are great.
Thank you for
I know
coming.
it's getting late and I should let you guys go, but I just wonder if there's any song that you just wish you could play in a concert and just want to throw it.
Are you like an encore of some kind?
It's
What?
funny.
No.
You beat me to the punch because, of course, I always put artists on the spot and say, okay, how about another one, even a short one?
You want to hear one more song?
Sing us out. Take us out.
We can do that.
Thanks so much.
Welcome.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll do a little Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee for you. How's that?
Thank you, guys.
You guys were awesome. Thanks again.
Everyone who's on
were
amazing.
And like I said, like he said, his wife wants to kick me out. So actually at his house. So
let's give them all a Zoom round of applause, everyone.
What key you got?
Capo first fret.
Well, good. You guys can sing along with this one. It's just kind of a call and response. But you would
I think everybody's got to be muted again, right?
That's
because
true.
of the latency.
But you would think that hanging out with a guy like Robert would be all fun and games, but not really. When I have problems, he's a preacher, man. He knows people with bigger problems every time. And so when I come up with little things like my car won't start or something,
I just always invoke the spirit of the great Lightning Hopkins, who said, rubber on wheels is always less reliable than rubber on heels. So the name of the song is Walk On. And your part is walk on, keep on walking till you find your way back home. Walk on,
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 walk
yeah, walk on,
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 walk on.
You better keep on walking till you find your way back home. When the road gets rocky and your shoes get thin, you don't know where you're going, but you do know where you've been. Walk on,
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 walk on.
You better keep on walking till you find your way back home. I'm gonna ride home if daddy send me my red don't send it, no, I don't mind walking there. I walk on,
Walk on,
walk on,
walk on,
walk on,
walk on,
walk on.
walk on.
You better keep on walking till you find my way back home. Well, you know, Mr. Trump, we got a brand new boss. You gotta get up and leave, cause man, you know you lost. Walk on,
Walk on,
walk on,
walk on,
walk on,
walk on,
walk on.
walk on.
You better keep on walking till you find your way back home. Well, you know, I'm so proud of the red, white, and blue. We can get rid of him and let's get rid of COVID too. Walk on,
Walk on. Those are traditional
Walk on.
verses there.
walk on.
Walk on,
You better keep on walking till you find your way back home. All right. Walk on,
walk on,
walk on,
walk on,
walk on,
walk on,
walk on.
walk
Yeah, walk on,
walk on,
walk on,
walk on,
walk on,
walk on,
walk on.
walk on.
You better keep on walking till you find your way back home. One more time. You better keep on walking till you find your way back home. Walk on. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
We love you.
guys.
Thank you.
That was great.
See you soon, I hope.
Take
Take
care.
good care. Be well.